Invitational Bible Quiz Meet. Good to have each one of you with us. And we'll just start off by maybe introducing a few of the teams tonight. And I think our furthest travelers all the way from Virginia, we have Fairfax, Virginia. Do you guys want to stand up? They flew in this afternoon, so we're thankful to have them here. Thank you. You may be seated. And then we have, let's see here. Well, should we do the Falls group next? We have 4 different teams from Falls, 2 in the Division 2 and 2 in the Division 1. You want to all stand up, Falls people? We can see you. All right, thank you very much for coming. And then we have some Mukwonago teams, I think, scattered around. All Mukwonago people, do you want to stand up? All right, we have 1 Division 2 team and 2 Division 1 teams. And then Marquette, we have 3 teams here from Marquette tonight. Marquette, do you want to go ahead and stand up from Downers Grove, Illinois? Thank you very much for coming. And then we have some more teams that will just be here tomorrow. So we have Cross Point from Indiana has 2 teams. Maranatha has 2 teams. And then Calvary has a team tomorrow. While I'm thinking of it, tomorrow morning the start time is 9:30 for many of you, but there's a couple of you that are 8:30 start times. Okay, so Marquette is on the 8:30 start time, and that's to give some of the teams that are coming in some extra quizzing to help determine their seating. And then also Mukwonago teams, you'll just have to check your start times for tomorrow, but I think everyone else starts at 9:30. We have food tonight around 8 o'clock. There'll be chips and queso served in the old fellowship hall, so you can make use of that. There'll also be some snacks down there if you're getting really hungry and you're starving and you need some food. There should be some snacks down there as well, so you can help yourself to that. Then the chips and queso will be served from 8 o'clock. You might not have time to eat till 9 because there's no buys tonight. Everyone's just quizzing straight through. So then at 9 o'clock, you can go down there. The ping pong table will be down there. You can play some ping pong and have a great time fellowshipping together. We have a little bit different format, although we have done this before. Not everyone's here, so we have a little bit of a mix-up in that we're mixing the JV, the Division 2, and the Division 1. All right, so there's going to be 1 2-team room where we're going to match up a Division 1 team against a Division 2 team. So Division 2 teams, see what you can do with those Division 1 teams. All right, so that'll be downstairs in the new fellowship hall. All the quizzes down there will be 2-team quizzes. So remember, 2-team quizzing is a little bit different. If the first team misses it, the second team basically gets a free 20-point question. Also, for the scoring for that, basically the high winner will get a 10. The low winner will get a 5. So it's not completely a low, but it's not completely a mid. It's just kind of right there in the middle. So hopefully that will provide a challenge for some of you. The theme verse for this weekend is Matthew 4:19. Can somebody stand up and quote that for me? All right, right here. All right, thank you. Follow me, and he saith unto them, follow me. All right, who's speaking there? Can anyone tell me who's speaking? Yes, right there. Jesus is. He said, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And we live in a world that has a lot of problems, don't we? And the morality of our nation is going down the tube, so to speak. And what we need is young people that are going to follow Christ. And guess what happens when you start following Christ? What's he going to make you? A fisher of men, isn't he? And then we can reach the world for Christ, because that's what they really need. That's what this world needs, is young people that are going to follow Christ. So, and when you follow Christ, guess what? He's going to make you a fisher of men. So that's the theme for this conference. Pastor Roberts is going to be speaking to us tomorrow. I'm going to give Mr. Douglas. We're really thankful for Mr. Douglas to be with us this evening. I'm going to give him just a minute, maybe just to talk about the rules. This is pretty much just the normal rules, but I'll let him speak on that, and then we'll.
All right. Any questions? That's what I thought. No, I'm just kidding. It is good to be here. I'm somewhat of a bass, so hopefully my voice will hold up. It's been a long time since I've had an issue at a tournament with my voice. So, it's pretty simple, straightforward the way the questions are done. We will have some of the end of the verse questions that will be identified as reference questions. So if you hear something that says this is a reference question, it just means that you're going to get a full chapter and verse reference at the end. Yes, sometimes you can jump on the chapter and get it right without being lucky. Rarely can you jump before you get at least the chapter and get it right without being lucky. There might be one or two that the wording is just slightly such that it's the only time it can be used that way, but you will not, you probably will not be the top quizzer at the tournament if you decide to jump on all of the end of the verse questions and do that before you hear at least the chapter, and in many cases, a chapter and verse. There are 28 questions in each stack of questions, so I got quiz masters in here. Mr. Roberts may have already told you this, but so there's your 25 that we use because we do cap it here until we get down, I think, to the final room. So we get down to like 5 teams. So everything tonight and tomorrow's capped at 25. So you got your first 3 extra are toss-up questions, replacement questions, not toss-ups, free questions or replacement questions on your sheet. And this is just my preference. You don't have to do it this way, but try to ask the quotes and finishes within the regular quiz and not have those be potential tiebreakers or free questions. Again, quiz masters, you can do what you want on that. That's just my best advice after doing this for a long time. And it's pretty much divided evenly between full reference and partial reference. Of course, I do count the end of the reference questions that where it comes at the end as part of the reference questions. So, and then there's quotes and finishes. There's 2 quotes and 2 finishes in each quiz, assuming that you hear all the questions. I mean, if if a couple teams are really hot, you might only hear 20 questions, and you're like, where were the quotes and finishes? 1 question from each chapter, obviously, in each set. Any questions? Okay, we're a long way from this happening, but I'm going to go ahead and say now so we don't have any dispute over it tomorrow if we get there, because we could even have tiebreakers tonight. We are not doing what happened at Nationals last year on the stage in the last quiz. We will do what we have done for the last many, many years, and that is when the first correctly answered question happens, that's when the quiz ends unless it's still tied. So there's none of this that if you're behind by 30 points and you get a question right, that you get to stay in the quiz to try to get 2 in a row right. We're not going to do that. So just want to be clear about that up front because we could have tiebreakers. So quiz masters, are you all clear on that? If you've got a quiz that has to go overtime, that quiz ends when somebody gets a 20-point question correct unless the quiz is still tied, which can happen. Somebody can make 2 errors in a row and the other team not get it, either of them, and then they can get the next question right. So it's rare, but it can happen. So Quizmasters, if you have any questions about that or coaches, come see me and I'll try to make sure that it's clear for everyone. All right, anything else? Any questions? All right, thank you.
Okay, I have a correction to make to the book. Hopefully it's the only 2 corrections, but if you are room 209, that's Mr. Tyler Knippel's room, at 7:30 p.m. It says Marquette 2, but that should be Marquette 1. Okay, it says Marquette 2, but that should be Marquette 1. And then in room 206, Mr. Luke Raines, at 8:30 p.m., it says Marquette 2, but that should be Mukwonago 2. Okay, so 8:30 p.m. in Mr. Luke Rains' room. It says it says Marquette 2. That should be McQuanago 2. They'll have it corrected up on the board, but just want to let you know. If you see another mistake, please let us know. All right, we'll close this time with a word of prayer. You can get to your rooms. If the quiz masters could come up to the front just for a real brief word before you head to your rooms, that would be great right away, the quiz masters. All right, let's pray, and we can start quizzing. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for each one that you've brought to this tournament. We thank you for the hard work that they've put into preparing to come. Thank you for all those that have sacrificed, Lord, whether it's driving a vehicle or spending time with the different teams that are represented here. We just thank you most of all for your word. Thank you, Lord, for the guidance that it gives us, the stability that it gives us in our lives. And just pray that you would use that word in each person's life that's represented here to bring them into greater conformity to the Lord Jesus Christ. We thank you for all those that have served just to help make this possible. And we just pray that your hand of blessing would be upon it. We pray in Christ's name. Amen. All right, if the quiz masters could just come up here real quickly.
got the, I don't think I have a booklet. Can you tell them where they're supposed to sit? Or you can give it to me and I'll tell them. It should be in the order in here for the round robins. Yes. Yes. So, looks like we've got Falls Lightning on my left, Fairfax on the middle, and Marquette on my right. Are y'all missing some people, or did you graduate them all? You're missing people?
No, sir.
Y'all okay? You look a little tired. When did y'all get in?
Yeah, just because.
Did y'all drive? Flew?
What's that computer? Usually not. This may not be working well, right? We'll just figure out technology. This is a round robin. All right, so easiest thing to help move this along is if you guys give me your numbers, just shout them out, not too fast.
143, 141, 140.
144.
Who's you have any subs? No subs.
No, there will be no.
All right.
103.
102.
161. 164.
Did y'all come without your coach too?
162.
I thought I saw a yes and a no.
Any subs? Ooh.
Probably
Did you say 165?
Yes.
All right, so we have Sarah, Caitlin, Nathan, Jonathan, and Kaylee. And then Carol, Iceland, and Carol, Aislinn, and Isaiah. All right. Then Nadia, Charity, Hannah Lynn, Stephen, and Caleb. Just want to make sure that's because our connection's not working right. So
As I go through,
you can announce it. I can turn it around.
as I go through, I try to call you by names, but sometimes I don't do that quite as well as I used to, because it's amazing how I'll remember your name the first 7 quizzes in a row, and then all of a sudden I won't have a clue who you are. So I try to do that, though, because I like to make this as personal as possible, especially when I'm calling errors on you. I'll be like, Aislinn, that is completely wrong. No, but it's, did I say that right, Aislinn? Okay, I got it right. Okay. I will tell you that I will promise you at some point I'll get confused in my mind. I'll be like, how do you say that again? So Nathan, Sarah, and you were Caitlin. I should remember that. I have a daughter named Caitlin. And you are Jonathan. Kaylee. Okay. I will try as we go through. And I can even say Paskevich. Did I get that right? Is that right? Yeah, okay. I can't say Van Gelderen, though. But, all right. Okay. Any questions before we get started? Can I do things to block your lights? Yes. Have y'all had any quizzing yet in Virginia? No? All right, we're ready to get started. And we may be on television, so if we are, welcome to everyone out there in internet world. We are real people doing this tournament. This is not AI. Although at times you may feel like the way some of the quizzers quiz that they are AI because they will appear to be that good, but, so, although I don't know, a lot of your brothers look a lot like you, so maybe they're clones. That could be it. So, anyway. All right, we're ready to get started. Question number 1. Question: when did Mary Magdalene, number 3,
The first day of the week, and the end of the Sabbath as it began to dawn for the first day of the week.
that's correct. Good job, Hannah Lynn. Question 2, as I finish this verse, finish this verse. The field is number 3, Hannah Lynn.
The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one.
That is correct. Question 3. According to Matthew 21:2, what? Number 4, Stephen.
21:2, what? Referring to Vanessa and Nicole with her.
That's correct. Question 4. Question: who came to Peter and said, number 3, Hannah Lynn?
They that receive tribute money.
20. Question 5. Question: what truly is number 3, Hannah Lynn?
The harvest.
Correct. All right, we don't have a scoreboard up, rather one-sided at this point in time, 100-0-0. Off to a good start. Number 6. In Matthew, number 6, question. In Matthew 26, what is week? Number 2, Caitlin. Sorry, I have to call time. Toss-up question remaining, number 4.
The flesh.
That's correct. Question 7. Question: it is asked if this generation is number 3.
Is like unto children sitting in the markets, more specifically, calling out to the fellows and saying, I came to you and ye have not danced, we have mourned unto you and ye have not lamented.
Correct. Question number 8. So quote this first question. Question, quote, Matthew 1:21. That would be not Nadia.
And she shall bring forth a son, not to call his name Jesus, and being interpreted as Galilees.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Toss-up question remain number 5. Kaylee?
And she shall bring forth a son, and she shall call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins.
You were closer than she was, but you made one mistake. And thou shalt call his name Jesus, not and she shall. Okay, so we have a free question for Fairfax. According to Matthew 20:30, who were sitting by the wayside? Aislinn?
2 blind men.
That is correct for 10. Question 8 repeated. Question, according to Matthew 5:4, number 2, Charity.
Who are blessed. They that mourn.
20. Question 9. So finish this verse, finish this verse. And the graves were, number 3, Hannah Lynn.
And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose.
That is correct. And that is a quiz out. Good job. Question number 10. Question. Why do hypocrites disfigure, number 4, Stephen?
That they may appear unto
That is correct. And a score check after 10, what do we have? 200, 10, 0. Question number 11. Question number 11, question. From where were some born eunuchs in number 3, Aislinn?
From their mother's womb.
That is correct for 20. Let's have a foul on falls. After I started the question, I had a light flicker on and off. Question number 12, question. Before whom in Matthew 10 would Jesus confess, who's number 2, Charity?
Before my Father which is in heaven.
That is correct. Question 13. Question. Where did Jesus' fame go? Number 4, Stephen.
Throughout all Syria.
That is correct. Question 14 is a reference question. Question. Whom did Jesus see according to Matthew 14:14? Yes.
A great multitude.
Good job, Caleb. Question number, is this 15?
Yes.
Question 15. Question. According to Matthew 3:3, what? Number 4, Stephen.
Pray the way of the Lord, make his path straight.
No, I'm sorry, it's incorrect. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. According to Matthew 3:3, what was Isaiah saying? Number 2, Carol.
The voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare you the way of the Lord, make his path straight.
20. All right, so after 15, we have a score of 260-50. 260-50. This is, and that's after 15 actually. This is question 16. Question 16. Why would they say in the evening it will be number 2, Charity? That is correct. Question 17. Question. According to Matthew 12:43, what number 1? Sarah.
Rest.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. According to Matthew 12:43, what does the unclean spirit do when he is gone? Number 1, Nadia.
He walks through dry places, seeking rest and finds none.
That is correct. You were on the right direction, just left out some stuff. Question 18. Question. What were the gifts they presented unto number 5? Kaylee? That is correct. Question number 19. According to Matthew 18:27, with what was the Lord, number 4, Jonathan?
With his servant.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. According to Matthew 18:27, with what was the Lord of that servant moved? Number 3, Aislinn.
Compassion.
That is correct. Was that 18 or 19? All right, so this is question number 20. Last question. To quote this first question, quote, Matthew 15:36. Time. And he took the 7 loaves and the fishes and so on. All right, question 20 repeated. according to Matthew 7:6, what was not number 4?
What was not? Give not thou which is holy unto the dogs.
That is correct. All right, good quiz. And we'll get ready for our second of the six round robins for the night. Thank y'all all. Final was 320.70.
You got a regular error, question 16.
Well, hello. Hello, and welcome to the Wisconsin Invitational Bible Quiz Tournament. I am just happy to have this tournament this year, and I know you can't see me right now, which is probably a good thing, but my name is David Roberts, and I'm going to be just announcing this evening, commenting upon this evening, just helping you to be able to understand, and although you can't see everything, just provide updates of how this tournament is going and how teams are doing. I was hoping to be able to do some interviews of people today, and so far we haven't quite gotten that set up, but our hope is that by tomorrow we have everything running smoothly, everything figured out, so that we can have some interviews going tomorrow with different coaches, and just want to understand just how the different teams are doing and how just a little insight into how the different teams are doing. So that's going to be coming your way. And we're just going to have a lot of exciting quizzing, and we're just going to try to get you to get a good glimpse into how that quizzing is going here. So in that quiz, we had Falls, we had Fairfax, Virginia, and I believe we had Marquette in that quiz. And it was as in that quiz you could see, Falls seemed like they were walking away with it early on in the quiz. Obviously, they have one of the best quizzers in the country in Hannah Lynn Van Gelderen on their team. We had Fairfax taking the middle there. I think pretty much what you're going to see at this tournament, I think, is you're going to see Falls. They're going to be very dominant. They have some of the most dominant quizzers in the country, plus it is an earlier season tournament. So I think what you're going to see is you're going to see them dominating this tournament. And sorry, we're having a couple of technical difficulties there. But yeah, I think what we're going to see is we're going to see Falls walking away with this so far today. And I think people inside here can listen to me talking inside the building. So it's kind of funny. I remember when that happened to me at Colorado one year. Right. So we're looking forward to this tournament. We're hoping to see how it goes. And feel free to comment. We got our YouTube page running, our Facebook page running. So feel free to comment. Let us know your favorite team and different things. And we're looking forward to this tournament. And we're hoping to see how this fun quizzing is going.
there's not four of you. I started to say, surely you could be like friends in the Bible and the four of you, but you could help too. You'd probably be stronger than all these guys anyway, so. Now, she strikes me as being quiet, or, no, she's not saying anything. They're not saying anything either. They're afraid of you. That's a good way to keep it. So. All right. And Caleb is quieter than Stephen. Yes. Yeah. And he's proud of it too. I can tell. So be careful. Be careful. That pride will come out, and all of a sudden you'll just start talking like crazy, and you won't be able to stop. So. All right. I think we are about ready to get going here. We've got 14 quizzers. Let me see everyone at one time. You see your light, please, Haley. That's not a good sign.
She has to.
Okay, but the first time she tried it didn't work, seemingly. Okay, let's hang on just a second. Everybody else sit down, please. Haley, just jump for me like 3 times in a row. Sit back down. Yeah. All right. Notice I'm not afraid of her. Okay.
Try to step forward towards the mic too when you answer.
His mic or?
One of these two.
Unless you're Stephen, and then you can just talk loudly like normal. So, whenever Stephen starts talking quietly, I know that I need to listen very close because he's not quite sure if he's got the quote down. So, and whenever Hannah Lynn starts talking really fast, that's when I'm like, okay. Okay, here we go. Question number 1. Question. What was Simon number 3, Hannah Lynn?
What was Simon to cast a hook?
That's correct. Yeah, there's several Simons in here, and Simon did a lot of stuff in here. So, all right, question number 2. Question. What did Jesus' disciples begin to do? Number 3, Hannah Lynn.
They began to
Sorry, I'm going to have to call time if you said anything new. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. What did Jesus' disciples begin to do when they were an hungered? Number 2, that would be way down here to Derek.
Began to reason among themselves?
No, I'm sorry. Pluck the ears of corn and eat, chapter 12. Okay, we've got a free question for McQuanigo 1. According to Matthew 6:22, what is the eye?
The light of the body.
And that would be Haley.
The light of the body.
That is correct for 10. Question number 2 repeated. Question. Question number 2 repeated. So quote this verse question. Question. Quote Matthew 20:28. Number 3.
even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many.
That is correct. Question number 3. Question. According to Matthew 19:17. Number 3.
Matthew
Daniel.
19:17. Thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. According to Matthew 19:17, who is good? Number 3, Hannah Lynn.
One that is God.
That is correct. Question 4. Question. What did he that had received 5, number 2,
He gained another 5. He gained another 5 talents.
is correct. Question 5. Make sure you're not talking. It seemed like somebody was talking there after I recognized him, but maybe not. Question number 5. Question. It's a reference question. Who came to Jesus according to Matthew 15:1? Hannah Lynn.
Scribes and Pharisees of Jerusalem.
Is correct? Question 6. So quote this verse question. Question. Quote Matthew 8:34. Number 3. Hannah Lynn.
And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus, and when they saw him, they besought him that he would depart out of their coasts.
That is correct. And let me give you a score update. 0, 130. And this is question number 7. Question number 7. Question. Who begat Jacob? Number 2. Joshua?
Nathan.
You know, I'm going to have to accept that because there is more than one. And this quizmaster should have realized that. So that is correct. Question number 8. Into what coast did number 2, Joshua?
The coast of Caesarea.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Into what coast did Jesus come in Matthew 16? Number 2.
Caesarea Philippi.
That's correct. I write a lot of questions for geography bees, and they're clearly not the same place. So one of them is on the ocean, and the other one is not, the Mediterranean Sea. And I think the other one's on the Sea of Galilee, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Caesarea Philippi is that one. Okay. Question number 9. The reference question. Question. What did some do according to Matthew 28, number 4? I'm sorry, I have to call time. Toss-up question. Number 2.
Some doubted.
Derek, that is correct. Question number 10. Question. Who built his house? Number 2, Joshua.
A wise man built his house upon a rock. Like in a wise man just built his house upon a rock.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Toss-up question. Number 4, Stephen.
A foolish man.
That's correct. I would by no means call you a foolish man and him a wise man in this case, but if you think about it, if you jump too fast on that particular question, it's kind of like jumping on sand and not knowing what the answer is, and then you can get lucky, or you can just wait and let the other person make an error and then be the wise man in that case, and then it's easy. And it's like everybody else was asleep because Stephen just flew up there. And I should have seen 4, or y'all couldn't jump, but I should have seen 10 lights. They should have all been flying. I was ready for 37 fouls on that one. It must be that it's Friday night.
That was a gimme question.
Question number 11. Question. When did the wind cease? Number 4, Stephen.
When he was coming to the ship.
That is correct. And the score check, 2160-50. Question 12. Question. How far might one number 3, Hannah Lynn.
Sea and land? Sea and land?
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up number 3, Daniel.
A mile?
That's correct. Question 13. According to Matthew oops, that's weird. Question. According to Matthew 13:11, what is number 5, Caleb?
Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven.
That is correct. Question 14. According to Matthew 22:39, what? Number 4, Stephen.
22:39 what? Second. I shall love my neighbor as thyself.
That is correct. Question number 15. According to Matthew 11:5, whom have...
The 4 of the gospel preached to them?
That's correct. After 15, did she just quiz out? Good job, you quizzed out. 2220 to 70. This is question number 16. Question. Whom would he miserably... Number 2, Joshua. I'm sorry, I've called time. Toss-up question number 5, Caleb.
Destroy those wicked men.
That's correct. Question 17. According to Matthew 2:18, number 2.
Who? Rachel. Moving for her. Rachel.
That's correct. Question number 18 is a finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. And Peter remembered the word of Jesus, which said unto him, before the cock crow, thou... Number 4, Matthew.
Thou shalt deny me thrice.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, finish this verse. And Peter remembered the word of Jesus, which said unto him, before the cock crow, thou shalt... Number 5.
Deny me thrice. And he went out and wept bitterly.
Good job, Caleb. Question 19. Question. What in Matthew 10 were they to do with... Caleb?
Salute them.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. According to what in Matthew 10 were they to do with what they hear in the ear? Number 1, Nadia. Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Good job. All right, and question number 20. According to Matthew 18:4, who is the greatest in the kingdom? Number 4, Stephen.
Whosoever shall humble himself as one of these little ones.
I'll accept that as an acceptable paraphrase for little child, little ones. All right, good quiz. 10, 370. Get ready for round 3 of round robin.
Okay, so you have their quiz of 2 Mukwanago teams against Falls teams. And I know what you expect is you expected a pretty close quiz there, but it looks like Falls clearly pulled away with that quiz there pretty easily. and you had one McQuantico team with 70 points and the other one with 10 points. And it honestly wasn't even a quiz. It was a little close there right at the beginning. You had Hanlon get a couple, then you had McQuantico respond with a couple. But honestly, the quiz wasn't even close there. I think the strength of Falls just lies in the fact that they have 3 or 4 quizzers who can just get any question at any point, and then they obviously have a couple quizzers who can answer almost every question. And what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a team that has a couple quizzers that know everything, and I'm seeing other teams that maybe don't know quite everything. And so I think when you look at the field of teams, you don't see any like star quizzers, but you have a lot of teams that are built upon getting every quizzer getting a couple questions. So we'll see how that plays out if any team can challenge Falls. I think now what you had there was a couple of questions. You had one from Matthew 7 where the wise man and the foolish man question, which Mr. Douglas talked about there. But I think what you saw there is so for those of you who don't know about Bible quiz, there's the initial question, and then if you miss that first question, you have a toss-up question. Now, a toss-up question is for the 2 teams that are left, and the quizmaster will ask a question, and the first team to jump after he releases his finger on the quiz box get to answer the question. Now, what you had there is Falls was able to beat McQuantico up on that toss-up question jump. And so what happens there is then you get to answer it, and it's still the 20 points. But then if you miss the toss-up question, it goes to the last team that didn't get an error, and then they get 10 points for answering that question. There's a reason why Falls is so good is because not only are they good at initial jumps, they're also good at toss-ups and beating the other team up on the toss-up question. So I mean, it's early on in the tournament, but it clearly looks like Falls stands above the rest of the teams. And I think we're going to get a couple of JV teams in here eventually on the nighttime. We'll see, though, there. I heard that the Falls JV team is pretty good and the McQuantico JV team is pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. We have yet to see any other JV teams in here, so we'll see. But I'm looking forward to some really good quizzing. I think as we get more into Saturday, we'll have a couple more teams coming. There's a couple teams that aren't here on Friday night that will come here on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that. And Matthew's a big book. It's hard to memorize it all before the first tournament. I mean, you get off in April from all the quizzing, so you have May, June, July, August, September, October. So that's 6 months. But it's also 28 chapters, and some of those chapters are pretty long. So it's definitely a big jump coming from a book like 1st and 2nd Corinthians to Matthew because of just the sheer amount of material that you see in the books. And to a lot of quizzers, it can be hard just to get in the groove because, you don't want to. It seems like you have to just memorize a lot to be good. And, I mean, you do have to memorize a lot to be good, but I think people get caught up in they have to memorize a lot to be good and just forget that it takes a step at a time. So I think it's good just to remember, in order to be you have to just take it a step at a time, just like a lot of things that you have to do. And so we'll see as we get into the year. I just think the quizzing will be a lot more competitive, and you'll have different teams that you see will rise up to the occasion. And it looks like in this quiz we have McQuantico 2, and it looks like we have 2 Marquette teams on the left and the right. So we'll see how this quiz plays out. I think we saw one of the Marquette teams in here earlier, but we have yet to see the second Marquette team. So we'll see how the quiz goes here. It's always good to hear Mr. Douglas's voice. Quiz mastering reminds me a lot of all the tournaments I saw him that I was at. It always adds a little nice edge to the quizzing. It's one thing sitting back here watching quizzing, and it's another thing sitting up there quizzing. And so, looks like we'll be turning this over to the Doug. Take it away. We'll see how this quiz turns out.
everybody's every quiz because I like to make somebody upset with me. But she looks like she might be really upset.
Sorry.
No, sorry about that.
Thank
Actually,
you.
I don't know. I know this is hard to believe, but back in the ancient days, in the 80s, and then probably even into the 90s and maybe early 2000s, they used to literally, and they didn't have the lights back here. So the lights were only here. And it was a flat panel, and they would literally do this so you couldn't see lights. Yeah. Yeah. So we could do one quiz like that as kind of a practice. But I'm not really interested in returning to those days of ancient yesteryear because we used to have a lot of errors and fouls just because of that. So this is a much better way.
162.
160.
Eventually I'm going to figure out what it is that I'm supposed to use here for this quiz. I think it's this. And I am back on now, I think, so we're ready to get started in a minute.
130.
134.
What's your number?
170. 174.
Okay, 173 and 71, all right.
Yeah, I'm glad you fixed that, because I don't want to be calling Gabe Yasmin. That would not be good. And even worse, I would be calling Yasmin Daniel. And I have no idea what I would be calling you, Daniel. All right, so let me see if I got these names here. Sarah, Caitlin, Nathan, Jonathan, Kaylee, Luke, Derek, Jeremiah, Matthew, Bethany, Jasmine, Ashlyn, Gabe, Yasmin, and Daniel. All right, so these two teams have been in here. Y'all are first timers here, and that's why I was trying to cover your lights up because I wanted y'all to feel welcome. So. All right, we ready to get going? Let's start. This is a reference question. Who was Simon? According to Matthew 10, number 1, that would be Sarah.
The brother. Andrew.
No, sorry. Toss-up question remaining, number 1.
The Canaanite?
That is correct.
Good job.
I do have a foul on my Quantico 2. A light flickered as I was starting to read the question. Question number 2.
Is my light off?
I'm sorry. That's why I'm supposed to always check to make sure all lights are on. You probably would have gotten that one right too. But thanks for being honest. All right, but now you'll be able to get this one. Question number 2. Question. What did the voice from heaven say? Number 4, Matthew.
This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased.
Yes, sir. Question 3. Question. What did another of Jesus's, number 2, Derek? Sorry, I fell time. Toss-up question remaining teams. Question. What did another of Jesus' disciples want Jesus to suffer him to do first in Matthew 8? Time. Go and bury my father. Question number 3 repeated. It's a reference question. Question. Who heard his parables according to Matthew 21:45? Number 3, Jeremiah.
Chief priests and Pharisees.
Yes, sir.
Good job, Jeremiah.
Question 4. Question. To whom did the Lord, when he was wroth, deliver him? Number 3. Jeremiah.
To the tormentors.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
He smiled with like this really strange looking smile when he said the word tormentor. All right. Question number 5. Question. What are false prophets in number 5? Daniel.
Inwardly they are ravening wolves.
Yes, sir. After 5, 0, 80, 20. Question number 6. So quote this verse question. Question. Quote Matthew 4:20. Number 2, Derek.
And going on thence, he saw other two brethren, James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, in a ship with Zebedee their father, and he called them.
It's a good try, but it's not correct. Thank you. Toss up question remaining teams. Question. Quote this verse, Matthew 4:20. Number 2.
And going on from thence, he saw other two brethren.
I'll go ahead and stop you. This was like a really short verse. It's I think the next verse, and they straightway left their nets and followed him. I think y'all were both in 19. I'm not positive, but I think that's where you were. Okay, so we have a free question now for Marquette 2. According to Matthew 22:4, what are killed? Number 2, Ashlyn.
My oxen and my fatlings.
That is correct. Question number 6 repeated. According to Matthew 25:18, what did he hide? Number 2, Caitlin.
The talent.
No, I'm sorry. Toss up question remaining teams. Question. According to Acts 25:18, what did he hide?
I think we're quizzing over Matthew.
What did I say?
Acts.
Well, see, there you go. There you go. And it didn't say Acts on my sheet, did it? But why are they giving me a hard time? They don't even know the answer to this question. I'm just double checking one thing here.
Sorry that confused you, nephew.
He had that moment there when he thought my parents had never told me my real name is Axe because he thought they were synonyms. He didn't, like, they just call me Matthew because it's a synonym. No, it's talking about the talents, but in this verse it refers to it as being he took and hid. He hid his Lord's money. That's the answer. He hid his Lord's money in the what does it say? The field, I think. In the earth. Okay. So we've used up 3 of our questions. Question number 6 repeated. Question. What was it not meet to cast to dogs? Number 2.
That which is holy.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Toss up question remaining. Number 1, that would be Jasmine.
Crumbs.
No, I'm sorry. When the lady responds, she says, they eat of the crumbs. So the whole idea here is that you don't take the piece of bread that you should feed your child and throw it to the dog. But the dog still gets food because when the child's eating the piece of bread, the crumbs fall. But the question was, what was it not meet to cast to dogs, which is children's bread, not the children's crumbs. So. All right. So we have a free question over here for Marquette 1. Whom did Jerusalem kill in Matthew 23? This is for McConaughey 1, a free question. Marquette 1. Okay, I need an answer. Need somebody to jump. Yes, ma'am.
All the prophets that matters to people.
One moment, please. All right. I'll take that as a good enough paraphrase. Yeah, that paragraph, that's kind of like Acts, paragraph, paraphrase, Acts, Matthew. All right, here we go. Question number 6 repeated. So finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers into, number 2, Derek?
Into his harvest.
That's correct. Got to do something to get correct answers. Here we go. Question 7. Question. Who were gathered together by Herod in Matthew 2? Number 5. Kaylee.
All the scribes and the Pharisees.
That is correct. No, I'm sorry. That's incorrect. Sorry about that. Toss-up question remaining. Number 5, Bethany.
All the chief priests and scribes of the people.
That's correct. Question number 8 is a finish this verse question. Question. Go ye therefore and teach all nations. Number 2, Derek.
Baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost.
That's correct. Question 9. Question. According to Matthew 6:24, ye cannot, number 5, Daniel.
Serve two masters.
One moment, please. I'm sorry, I can't accept that. Toss-up question, number 4, Matthew.
God and mammon.
That's correct. It's a full reference question, and the way it's worded from the verse, the ye as opposed to no man. Whom can no man serve? Your answer. Whom ye cannot serve whom is that answer there. Okay? We are on question 11. Wow. Not sure what I did. I went backwards somewhere. Okay, all right, so it's question 11. Our score check after 10 is 0, 1, 60, 50. Okay? Question 11. According to Matthew 14:1, who was number 4? That would be Jonathan. That is correct. Question 12. Question. Against whom did they murmur when they received it? Number 3, Jeremiah.
Against the Lord of the Vineyard.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Against whom did they murmur when they received it in Matthew 20? Number 2, Ashley?
The good man of this house.
That is correct. Question 13. According to Matthew 1:7, who begat Rehoboam? Number 4, Matthew.
Solomon.
That's correct. Good answer, Axe. All right. Question number 14. Question. According to Matthew 5:35, what is the earth? Number 5, Daniel.
This is footstool. To God's whistle.
That is correct. Question 15. Question, according to Matthew 27:48, what was filled, number 5?
A sponge.
That is correct. All right. We're going to do a score check here. I've got 20 for Marquette 1, 170 for McQuantico 2, 110 for Marquette 2. Question number 16. Question. What had he found of great price in number 2, Derek?
A pearl.
That's correct. Question 17 is a quote this verse question. Quote, Matthew 17:5. All right, I'm sorry. We'll go to the next one. That's while he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. Question number 17 repeated. Question. Who was the high priest in Matthew number 5, Daniel?
Caiaphas.
That is correct. Question 18. Question. What is easy in Matthew number 2, Derek?
My yoke.
That is correct. Question number 19. Question. According to Matthew 19:24, what is it easier for? Number 4, Matthew.
Easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle.
That is correct. Question 20. According to Matthew 16:17, who was blessed? Number 1, Jasmine.
Simon Barjona.
That is correct. All right. McQuantico 2, strong quiz 230. Marquette 2, really strong middle there with 150. And Marquette 1 come back strong next quiz. All right. On we go to round robin 4.
Okay, so we had that quiz. We had McQuantico 2 with the high. We had Marquette 2 with the middle, and Marquette 1 with the low. That was the quizzers definitely knew their material, which is very good. The Marquette 2 seemed to have a couple of quizzers who knew it pretty well. We had Daniel there at the end. Honorable mention to him. He knew his stuff pretty well, and I think he's one of those up-and-coming quizzers that we can be talking about. I think he's going to be, in a couple of years, he's going to be a force to reckon with. Usually when you start off younger, it's a little harder to get down like how fast to jump. The key is, though, learning how to memorize. And if you can get down how to memorize, you'll get down the other parts of quizzing. And a number of the quizzers on their team contributed. They seemed to know their stuff. McQuantico, it seemed like, especially Derek, knew his stuff pretty well, and they were consistently jumping and getting questions. Now, they might not be as good as they were last year, but obviously they lost one of their best quizzers, Lydia, one of the best quizzers in the country. And it's going to be hard for McQuantico this year to replace Lydia. And I think that's going to be one of the challenges. We're going to see, how does McQuantico this year respond to the loss of Lydia? She was one of the best quizzers, knew her stuff, was always consistently there to jump, get a question when they needed it. And will they find that quizzer that can replace her and just step up and say, hey, I'm going to be that next quizzer? We'll see how that happens, but I'm really excited for Marquette in their bright future. If they just keep building on that throughout this year, and we'll see how they come up later on in the year, but I think they have some big potential. And then we have, it looks like in this quiz, we have some JV teams here. It looks like we have McQuantico on the right side. We have one of the Falls teams in the middle and a Falls team on the left. We'll see which Falls team is better. But it looks like I think this is going to be probably one of the most competitive quizzes you're going to see. JV I think is a lot more even footing than the high school is. So I'm looking forward to an exciting quiz. Just a couple things to keep your eyes open for on this quiz. We have Nathan Golshinsky. He's one of the best up and coming quizzers in the country. He's on McQuanago. He's in the red plaid shirt that you see there, moving over to the center. We got Elizabeth Roberts. She knows her stuff very well this year. She's a good up and coming quizzer. Then we have a Henning quizzer on McQuanago, very good. And I think a couple quizzers to look out for in falls. We have, looks like a couple Schultz is on the team. They're usually pretty good. We have John Zempel. It seems like he's a pretty good quizzer. And then it looks like we have Lydia Van Gelderen. Obviously, she's a Van Gelderen, so she'll know her stuff there. And I'm just looking forward to this quiz, getting to see some of the JV. It's always nice. The JV is always the future of high school. If the high school is, if the JV is strong now, usually the high school will be strong in a couple years. So I think I'm going to predict in this quiz, I think McQuanago will come out on top with the high. I think close behind them will be one of the falls teams, and we'll see which team takes up the rear. But I think, honestly, in this quiz, any team could come away with the victory. We'll just see what happens.
Simpsons and how many falls in the country there? Steady. Steady. It's 24. Wait, this question. You have to at least hear the chapter. No, sorry, 222. What is special? Yes.
Too late. No, you say 222?
42.
What is it again?
Oh, sorry.
Look, you're not Sophia. All right.
No, we don't allow that up in this particular room.
He's kidding.
You let them do it? They're teaching them bad habits. We're already telling the others, we're going back to the old days where we used to have the quiz boxes, and they would just cover all the lights up. There didn't used to be lights back here. They were only here, and all the lights were the same shade. If you were quizzing on a bright and sunny day in Colorado and the sun was coming in the right way in one of the windows, you couldn't even tell if the light was on or off, even without them being covered up. The bad thing was quizmasters couldn't tell either. Some of those sneaky quizzers, they would realize that, and they realize we wouldn't see it, and we didn't have sound back then. You know, y'all realize we didn't have sound with our quiz boxes until like the 90s? Probably mid to late 90s. So these quizzers would jump up with the reflection work, and they get like 5 or 6 extra words. Some of them names were probably Van Gelderen from 20 years ago. No, I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe. But,
Mr. Luke and Mr. White, were they quizzing 20 years ago?
Luke Reigns.
I think Luke was probably maybe not quite that long. Close.
He was 2007 to 2007 to 2007.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Mr. Quizmaster, do you want us to step up to the mics every time we
That
answer?
would be wonderful. Can you believe we actually have a quizzer ask if they can do that?
I know, that's good.
I mean, most of the quizzers are like, after we tell them to do that, they're still like scared. And then there's people like my friend Nathan here. He talks so loud he doesn't have to move to the mic. So. But anyway. All right, yes, that would be good because I don't know if we're on TV or not. We are? Okay, yeah, we better turn the sound back on, because all those people out there in
Sorry, son.
internet world can't hear us, can't hear me, so. All right, let me see, after our situation last quiz, where we actually didn't have one person's light on for one question. Let's see all 15 lights at one time, please. Wow, they did that well, too. I think I'm gonna ask to be moved to Division 2. They want to come to the mic.
Please don't.
You don't want me to come to Division 2?
You can. You can.
Oh, they're afraid I won't let them check their lights. Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, if y'all let me come to Division 2, I'll let you check your lights. Okay, here we go. Question number 1. Question. It's a reference question. What did Jesus charge them saying according to Matthew 17:9? Number 5. That would be Titus.
Tell the vision to no man until the Son of Man is risen again from the dead.
Look at that. He comes to the mic and he gets it right. That's the way to start out. All right, good job, Titus.
Good job, Paul.
Your mom will be proud of you.
Yeah. Question number 2, according to Matthew 12:45. Whom does he take with himself? That would be number 2, that would be Paul.
7 other spirits more wicked than himself?
That is correct. Look at that. He went to the mic too.
Nice, Paul.
Got it right. Maybe that's what happens in Division 1. They don't go to the mic. Going to the mic helps you get it right. All right, question 3. Question. Who would those who had followed Jesus in Matthew 19 judge? Number 3. Nathan.
They would judge.
I'm sorry, I have to call time. You don't get extra time by waiting to walk up to the light. Or walk up to the light, the mic. All right, toss-up question number 3. That would be Emma.
The 12 tribes of Israel.
That is correct. Question 4 is a quote this verse question. Quote Matthew 25:30. Let's try it this way. Question 4, to finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. And cast ye the unprofitable. Number 2, that would be Elizabeth.
Into everlasting punishment there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
It's a good try, but not quite. Toss-up question remaining teams. Question, finish this verse. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer. Number 2.
Darkness.
Christine, it's got more in it. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
It's okay.
Okay, so we have a free question for Falls Tsunami. I like that name, by the way. All right. According to Matthew 26:55, what had Jesus done daily? Yes, sir.
Sat in the temple with you?
That's a good try. It's a free question, so that's no penalty. It sat with you teaching in the temple. Teaching in the temple.
Okay, buddy.
That's a good try. Very good try. 4 repeated, or is it 5?
4 repeated.
4 repeated. Question number 4 repeated. Question. How many baskets full of...
7? Oh. 7?
That's correct. It was correct there and there. Okay. You need to stop for a second to get that.
We're good now.
All right. Question number 5. According to Matthew 8:32, what? Number 5, Titus.
What steep place into the sea.
It's a good try. Can't accept it. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, according to Matthew 8:32, what did the whole herd of swine, number 1, that would be Zechariah?
Ran violently down a steep place into the waters and perished into the sea.
I'll accept that. You got the sea and the waters backwards, but I think they can be paraphrases for each other, so you got everything else right. They ran it down a steep place into the sea and perished in the waters, but the sea was water and the water was the sea, so we'll let it go. All right, after 5, we've got a score of 20 for Avalanche, 20 for Maquanago A, and 60 for Fall Tsunami. Off to rolling over their opponents here. So, question number 6. This is a reference question. What did he call his name according to number 2? That would be Paul.
Jesus.
You got the right one. Question number 7. According to Matthew 16:14, whom did others say number 3? And that would be Lydia.
Whom did others say? He is Elias, one of the prophets.
It's a good try, but not correct. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, according to Matthew 16:14, whom did others say Jesus? Number 3.
Jeremias or John the Baptist?
Man, if y'all could have put your answers together, we'd have had it. It was Jeremiah or one of the prophets. All right. So we've got a free question for... Man, False Tsunami, they got so excited when they knew they had a free question. What type of fruits were they to bring forth in Matthew 3? That would be Paul.
Meet for repentance?
Yes, sir. All right, so this is just a suggestion. Make sure you guys talk among yourselves on those free questions. You got it right, so that was good. But just take a second, breathe, talk it out, and then you'll do something crazy like one of my teams did one time when they were asked. And it was in this book, actually. Where was the Son of Man for 3 days? And they answered, in the belly of the whale. Yeah, not good. What's even worse is they were like really smart. One of them went to Harvard Law School after that. One of them is a pharmacist. Another one owns a whole bunch of Chick-fil-A's. And all these so-called smart people sat there and discussed it amongst themselves and decided that Jesus was in the belly of the whale for 3 days. You can tell that happened in the 1980s, and I still remember it. So that's not, that really... It probably caused me some pain in my life that I just haven't been able to get through. So, all right, here we go. Question number 7. Question. And what were they to baptize all nations? Number 2, that would be Miss Elizabeth.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost.
That is correct. Question 8. According to Matthew 7:16, number 5, Titus.
Grapes of thorns, thorns or figs of thistles.
That's a good try, but I can't take it. Toss-up question, remaining teams. According to Matthew 7:16, of what is it asked if men gather grape? Number 3, that would be Emma.
Of thorns.
That's correct. Just a suggestion there, Titus, when you get stuck like that, just pick one, go with it, and maybe it'll be the right one. But most of the time when you're in that situation, if you pick them both, probably not going to work out so well. All right, question 9. Does she take after Matthew?
Yes.
She does?
Yup, younger
I'm telling
sister
you,
right here.
every single time I reset the lights, she just pops right back on. All right, there we go. Question 9. It's a reference question. How many loaves did he take? Number 4,
7.
Sophie. That is correct. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not correct. Toss up number 4.
5.
That is correct. So back in the 80s, we were quizzing for the championship. And this question brings me great pain too, because there's one chapter where it has both of them in there. And we jumped and we said 5 loaves when it was supposed to have been 7. And we lost nationals by 2 loaves of bread. And that was also painful. Same team that caused me those other problems. So anyway, but we won the year before, but we just didn't do it that year. All right. This is question number 10. So finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. Agree with thine adversary. Number 4, that would be Joanna.
Quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest he deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison.
That was so close, but I'm sorry, it's not correct. Toss up question number 4, that would be John.
Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time thine adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison.
You missed it by like 2 letters. It's the adversary, not thine adversary. A good try. So, guess what that means? Free question. All right. What would the Gentiles do in Matthew 20 when the Son of Man was delivered to them?
Mock and to scourge and to crucify him.
Yes, ma'am.
To mock and to scourge and to crucify him.
That's correct. Good job. Timeout for Avalanche.
Okay, so
We're just staying solid. Guys, keep it up. You've got this. What question? Miss Grace, what question is this?
okay, so we have a close quiz here. It looks like Aquanago Falls and Falls are so I think the Falls team is pulling ahead, but we'll see how it shapes up here. If they can catch up. Sorry, I have to try to control the sound too so you can hear me. But it seems like I'm gonna say whatever team controls their jump more and doesn't try to jump as fast as they can, I think will win this quiz. Whatever team just is content to try to either wait for the toss-ups or get really smart initial jumps. They can't let themselves get caught into the test of trying to beat the other teams. So I predict whatever teams get the fewest errors from here on out will win.
Okay, we are ready to get back into this quiz. This is question number 10, repeated. Question. Where did the woman hide number 2? Elizabeth.
In in 11.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. That's a good try. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Where did the woman hide the leaven in Matthew 13? All right, time in 3 measures of meal. Question 11 repeated. 10 repeated, sorry about that. Question. What did a certain king make for his son? Number 4.
A marriage.
That is correct, John. Question 11. So quote this verse question. Question. Quote Matthew 11:28. Number 3. Lydia.
Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest.
That is correct. Question number 12. Question. What did the householder, number 2, Elizabeth,
A tower.
it's a good try, but it's not correct. Toss up. I'm sorry, you jumped too fast. It's a foul. You gotta wait till it clears. Toss up question remaining teams. Question. What did the householder dig in the vineyard? Number 3.
A wine press.
That's correct.
Yes.
Now, you can jump as soon as the light changes back here, so you didn't have to like sit there. You could have jumped right back up, so you weren't eliminated from it. It's just that you jumped too fast the time before. All right.
Score? What's the score?
We'll give you a score check here in just a minute. 60 for Avalanche, 30 McQuantico A, 120 Falls Tsunami. Question 13. According to Matthew 2:20, who were dead? Number 2, Elizabeth.
Those which sought the young child's life to destroy him.
That is correct. Question 14. Question. Who was the son of number 2, Elizabeth? I'm sorry, it's a good try. Toss up question remaining teams. Question. Who was the son of Alphaeus? Number 3.
James.
That is correct. Lydia. Question 15. So finish this verse question. Question. Finish this verse. For where 2 or 3 are, number 2, Paul.
Gathered together. There am I in the midst of them.
It's a good try. I'm sorry, it's not correct. Toss up question remaining teams. Number 4.
For where 2 or 3 are gathered together, there I am in the midst of them.
You both left out in my name. My name. Okay, McQuantico, your free question. According to Matthew 7:29, not as whom did Jesus teach them?
Not as the scribes.
Number 1, that would be, is it Ginger? Is that how you say it? Ginger.
Not as the scribes.
Correct.
Good job, Ginger.
Sorry about that. Good job. Okay, now we got to do a quick check here because we're getting close to running out of questions. 15, 16, 17, 18. We can still do it if we don't have any more.
What is the score?
The score is 70, 50, 120. This is question 15 repeated. 70, 50, 120. Here we go. All right. Question 15 repeated. Question. Whom shall he give charge? Number 4. Johanna?
His angels.
That is correct. And do you say it Johanna or do you say Joanna? Johanna. Okay. All right. That is correct. Question 16. According to Matthew 9:34, what did the Pharisees say? Number 2, Christina?
What did the Pharisees say?
Sorry, I have to call time. According to Matthew 9:34, what did the Pharisees say? Time. He casteth out devils through the prince of devils. All right, so we're not going to get through question 20. We're repeating 16. We can still get through 19. Question 16 repeated. According to Matthew 27:26, whom did Pilate?
Barabbas.
That's correct.
I was just making it loud so everyone could hear.
Okay, all right, time out. Score is 60, 90, 120. 60, 90, 120.
Okay, so this is a close quiz. We'll see who pulls it out. It's 60, 90, 120. McQuantico still has the potential to overtake Falls 1 for the high. Falls 2 still has the potential to pull out the middle and McQuantico to get the low. So this is a close quiz, as I predicted. Anything could happen. So this is what we quiz for, is for this close competitive quizzing. So let's see who gets the key jump. Again, people to keep an eye on are, we got, it looks like Paul is really good over on Falls. We got John Semple and Lydia Van Gelderen, and then Nathan and Elizabeth on McQuantico. So we'll see who comes out with the clutch. This is where quizzers are born.
All right, question 17. Question 17. It's a reference question. Who is blessed according to Matthew 23:30? Number 3, Nathan.
Who is blessed? Blessed is...
Sorry, I have to call time. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. It's a reference question. Who is blessed according to Matthew 23:39? Number 3, Lydia. That is correct. Okay, we have 2 questions left. It's 80, 80, 120. Question 18. Question.
Wow, this is
What
close
might
quiz.
the evil servant, number 2, Elizabeth?
Outer darkness?
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. What might the evil servant say in his heart in Matthew 24?
This could determine the quiz right here. This could determine the quiz.
Number 2, Paul.
My Lord delayeth his coming.
That is correct.
Wow, it is really close.
Question number 19. Question number 19. Question. Oh, and let me just say this. This is the final question, and the score is 80, 70, 140. So unless there's a tie, this is the final question.
Wow, anyone's
Because it's number 25. Question. Who do we forgive as number 5, Titus? No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Who do we forgive as the Father forgives our... Number 3, Nathan.
We forgive them which trespass against us.
No, I'm sorry. All right. And the correct answer to that was, who do we forgive as the Father forgives our debts? In Matthew 6, the answer is our debtors. Okay, and we have a free question to end the quiz. This is for Fall Tsunami. According to Matthew 9:35, what three things was Jesus doing as he went about all the cities and villages?
No, that's from 4. I think, yes.
All right, last chance to jump. All right, time. No one's sure of this one. It's teaching in their synagogues, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. I would have taken teaching, preaching, and healing. That would have done it. Good quiz. Avalanche squeaks out a middle over Maquanago A and falls tsunami with a very strong high wind. Okay, on we go to round 5.
Let's go.
Good quiz.
Wow, that was a close quiz there. We had Falls pulling out the high, and I believe Quantico got the low, and the other Falls team got the middle. It was a very close quiz, but in the end, McQuantico just couldn't. McQuantico couldn't get over themselves. Got a little too many errors, but that was a very close quiz, and I think you saw 3 teams that the quizzers knew their stuff, and it was very close. And right now, I'm eating my nachos, and we got some really good food at this tournament. And there's one reason to come to a tournament, it's because it has good food, obviously, for the competition as well. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I really enjoy these nachos. They're great. That's one thing I like about a tournament is we got some really good muffins Saturday morning, really good lunch, and we just have a lot of good food. So I think we saw the top 3 teams there for quizzing. I think after seeing the Falls team on the right side there for that team, I believe Falls won. I think they could pull out the first place in this tournament. They seem like a very well put together team, some really good quizzers. So we'll see what happens there, but it looks like we're going to have another high school quiz here. Looks like we're going to have McQuantico. We'll see what the other 2 teams are. But I think really for elementary, we saw a lot of quizzers who were jumping pretty fast for elementary, and it seemed like they knew their stuff. They obviously didn't have the quotes down as well, but we got a good crop of up-and-coming quizzers. It looked like some of the Van Gelderns really impressed there. There's some other solid number 2 quizzers on those teams, and it looked like McQuantico never really had a number 1 quizzer, but they had a number of solid quizzers. So that was really nice to see for JV. And I know if you're listening out there, you may not know a lot of these quizzers or a lot of the teams, but these are some names to take note of because you'll probably be seeing them a lot over the next number of years. And now we'll see the high school. It looks like Marquette's in here and Fairfax, Virginia against McQuantico. And I know we talked a lot about Fairfax, Virginia last year. They're a very good up-and-coming team. And we'll see, it looks like they lost a couple quizzers from last year. But we'll see if they can continue going on this year. We'll see how they are. I'm excited to see them quiz. And we've seen Marquette. Looks like the Marquette 2 team, but I think it's basically is the number 1 team. They're led by Daniel Abid, and he's a very good quizzer. And so we'll see how this quiz plays out, but I think it's going to be a fight pretty even between all the teams. I'm predicting Fairfax comes in first place. I think McQuantico is second place. I'm saying, let's say Marquette is second place, McQuantico third. But I think with 3 people, Fairfax has a harder time maybe covering the whole material. So we'll see how that plays in. All right, let's turn it over to Doug.
101.
102.
And then, can you guys shout out your numbers?
122.
120.
121.
123.
Right, and then Marquette, can you shout out your numbers?
170.
174.
173.
171.
172.
All right, ready? me? That's a brownie point. I said that the other day and then I realized that's something a Girl Scout appreciates, probably not a Boy Scout.
Were you a Boy Scouts?
No. But I had a couple of sons who were. Well, one, I guess I had.
Cub Scouts.
So what's that?
Cub Scouts.
He was in Boy Scouts. But anyway. All right. Let me see all the lights at one time. Should be 12, I believe. Yep, there we go. Okay, we're ready to start. Let's see. We've got Fairfax and McQuantico 1 and Marquette 2. Question number 1. What neither were they to provide in their purse? Number 1, Caleb.
Neither gold, nor silver, nor brass.
That's correct. Number 2, according to Matthew 3:1, number 2.
The wilderness of Judea.
That is correct. Question 3. Question. What did the devils in Matthew 8 beseech? Number 3, Aislinn. I'll accept that. Number 4. Question. What would happen to whomsoever the stone fell? Number 2, Ashlyn.
It would grind him to powder.
That's correct. All right, let's just make sure we're all going to the mic and talking loudly. We just had middle schoolers in here and elementary kids, and they were really loud. They liked going to the mic.
Went right to the mic.
Yeah, sometimes they were a little too loud, but they did what we asked them to. Went to the mic. Question number 5. According to Matthew 18:21, how many times did Peter ask if he should forgive his brother? Number 4, Isaiah. 20 points. Okay, so after 5 questions, we've got Fairfax 40, McQuantico 140, Marquette 220. Question number 6.
No, Marquette 2 has 20.
40, 40, 20. Yeah, if you're at 220 on question 6, then I gave you a lot more than brownie points. So. Actually, he gave you a lot more than brownie
Making
points.
up for when his light was off.
Yeah, that's right. Because we left your light off that one time, we gave you 200 bonus points. Real points, not that brownie point stuff. All right, here we go. Question 6 is I finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. For he taught them as one, number 2.
Having authority and not as the scribes.
That is correct. Question 7. According to Matthew 4:3, who, number 2, Josh.
The devil. The tempter referring to the devil.
That'll do it. Probably wouldn't have done it if you hadn't said that. Question 8. It's a reference question. Unto what shall the kingdom of heaven be? Number 3, Daniel.
Unto man that is an householder. Which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Questions, a reference question. Unto what shall the kingdom of heaven be likened according to number 2, Ashlyn? Time, I'm sorry. And that's why we call them a reference question. There's a lot of those very similar. And the answer here was 10 virgins which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom, 25:1. Okay, we have a free question for Fairfax. According to Matthew 22:46, what neither durst any man from that day forth? It's a free question. Free question. She tries to steal people's free questions. That's twice now. Back over to y'all. What neither durst any man from that day? Ashley or Aislinn? I'll take that. 10 points. Question number 8 repeated, right? It's a reference question. Into where did Jesus depart? According to Matthew 15, number 2. Joshua?
Into the coast of Caesarea Philippi.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Number 1, Jasmine.
Coast of Tyre and Sidon.
That's correct. You almost did what I did years ago. You almost said Sire and Titan.
Yeah.
And when I was quizzing, I literally did jump up, and I think it was Mark, and it was like, what did he do in the temple? And the answer was supposed to be they bought and sold in the temple, and I said they sought and bowled in the temple. Everybody laughed, and they gave it to me. Just felt sorry for me. Question number 9. Question. What did the multitude say when they marveled that the dumb, number 5, Daniel? No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question. Number 4, that would be Isaiah.
It was never before seen in Israel.
That's correct. Never so seen in Israel. All right, question 10. Question. What would have been good for that man in Daniel?
I've never been born.
That's correct. After 10, we've got a score. Wow, this is a close one. Fairfax 70, Quantico 80, Marquette 2 60, and no one's in the air zone yet. So here we go. Question 11. It's a reference question. What shall he be called according to Matthew 2, number 2, Joshua?
Emmanuel.
No, sorry. Toss-up. Okay, that's a foul on Fairfax. Toss-up question remaining. Number 5, Daniel.
Emmanuel, say God is with us.
No, see, y'all even got the chapter, and you're both in chapter 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so chapter 2 is a different chapter, and the answer is not what y'all said. It's a Nazarene. So I'm not, when I tell y'all to be careful in the reference questions, you were kind of careful, but then you got to at least pay attention to what the chapter is. So, all right, free question. So are you glad you didn't get that one? Yeah, okay. Free question. Who was the son of Barachias or Barachias in Matthew 23? In Matthew 23. Free question, Ashley.
Zacharias.
That's correct, for 10. That was Aislinn. Question 11 repeated. According to Matthew 6:16, when, number 2, Joshua?
When
I'm sorry, it's called time. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, according to Matthew 6:16, when were they not to be as the hypocrites? Number 2, Carol.
When he fast.
20. Question 12. Question. What did the men of that place in Matthew 14 do when they had knowledge of him? Okay, this is a mouthful. They sent out into all the country round about and brought unto him all that were diseased. Question 12 repeated. According to Matthew 21, like unto what
a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard?
Yep, that would be the one. Question 13. Question. From what unto Christ are 14, number 2, Joshua.
From carrying away into Babylon. From carrying away into Babylon unto Christ, 14 generations.
That's correct. Question 14. Question. Who said in Matthew 5, whosoever, number 2, Joshua.
Jesus.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question. Remaining teams. Question. Who said in Matthew 5, whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the number 5, Daniel?
By them of old time.
20. All right, question number 15. It's a reference question. What was there according to Matthew 28:2? Number 3, Daniel.
There's a great earthquake.
That is correct. Let's do a score check. Okay, I've got Fairfax 100, McQuantigo 120, Marquette 80. Is that what you got too?
Yes, sir.
All right, good close quiz. We're all going to the error zone now. This is question number 16. Question. According to Matthew 13:34, without what did Jesus not speak? Number 4.
Without a parable, they cannot.
That is correct. Yasmin, good job. It's a good close quiz. 100, 120, 100. Sure.
I believe in the verse that says without parables instead of without a parable.
I'm sorry?
In the verse it says without parables, plural, instead of a parable.
It is actually a parable. But I would have accepted either one in that case. No. Question number 17. Question. When was the child cured, Joshua?
From that very self-same hour. Child should get a self-same hour.
I'll take that from that very hour. Is a good enough paraphrase? Question 18. And our score now is 100 Fairfax, McQuantigo 140, Marquette 2 100. Question 18. Question. Who was Jesus' disciple in Matthew 27? Number 3, Daniel.
Who was Jesus' disciple? Joseph. A rich man of Arimathea named Joseph.
That is correct. 100, 160, 100. Question 19. According to Matthew 11:12, what suffereth violence unto... Number 4, Isaiah.
Kingdom of heaven. Sorry, the kingdom of heaven.
That is correct, 20. Okay, last question, 120 Fairfax, 160 McQuantigo, 100 Marquette 2. It won't be the last question if we have an error or something, but it's question number 20. Question 20. Quote this verse, Matthew 19:22. All right, time. The question was, but when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. Repeating question 20. Question. Of whose leaven were they to beware? Number 3, Daniel.
Beware the leaven of the Pharisees.
That is incorrect. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Of whose leaven were they to beware in Matthew 16? Time. The answer is the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. Okay, this is question number 20 repeated. Our score is now 120, 150, 100. Question number 20 repeated. It's a finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. And because iniquity shall abound, number 2, Ashlyn.
The love of many shall wax cold.
That is correct. And Ashlyn, that was not a free question. Good job. All right, so McQuantico, sit back. You got the high. We're going to have a tiebreaker. It's 120, 120. All right, question number 20 is, we'll just see what the randomness of the world brings us here. Question number 20. According to Matthew 11:27, what are delivered unto me? Time, all things. Question number, tiebreaker again. Question. What are dull in Matthew? Number 4, that would be Yasmin. That is correct. All right. Good quiz all around for everybody that time. Missing chapters is always difficult, but you guys did a very good job considering.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, that was a close quiz there. Right at the end, it was all the way down to the wire. We had McQuantico, Fairfax, and Marquette fighting it out. And it seemed like McQuantico had it sealed, and then right at the end, they made a couple errors, and Fairfax and Marquette both came back. And Marquette right at the end, they were tied it, got a couple key questions. And so, I mean, it was anyone's game in there, and Marquette ended up on that tiebreaker question pulling out the win. So if you're a Marquette fan, you have to be looking forward to this. Loving these quizzes, how they've been turning out. And I think Marquette has a solid chance to make it into the top 3. Honestly, right now, I think the top 2 teams right now would be Falls 1 and Falls 2. But I think that third place team is a toss-up for any team. Fairfax, any of the McQuantico teams, or Marquette. They all have a chance there to contend. So we'll see what happens. But honestly, it's anyone's game, and that's what you want to see is have a quiz like that, have a lot of close questions. That's what's really fun as a quizzer. And we're looking forward to this night. I mean, especially tomorrow, we'll see how everything shapes up. But it's going to be some intense quizzing. I'm just enjoying myself here at this tournament. I'm enjoying watching all the quizzers, having all the fun. It was good to see Marquette after that win get excited. You like seeing that excitement. And I don't know for sure what's going to be happening in these next tournaments, but I know it's going to be good. I hope these teams just keep on coming to the tournaments. The best way to grow in your Bible quizzing skills is to get to more tournaments. So if you're a parent out there or a quiz coach and you want your team to succeed, I know it's really tough going to tournaments. It takes money and commitment, and it's hard, but it's a lot of fun, honestly. Some of my best memories I made on Bible quiz tournaments, especially, man, those long trips with your team. I had so much fun on some of those trips, so many memories. I remember once on a quiz trip to Colorado, we were driving. It was like a snowstorm. And it's the one year I actually wanted to get back from Colorado as fast as I could back to our Wisconsin. But I remember we were driving. It's a snowstorm, a big blizzard, and we're driving really slowly just to be careful, and all of a sudden I look over and I see this car do like a 360 circle on the road right next to us. Almost hit us, but it was, I mean, it probably shouldn't have been funny, but we all laughed at it. And there's so many memories that happen on Bible quiz trips that are so fun. So I hope a lot of you teams out there listening just come to Bible quiz tournaments. It's the best way to learn. I know after this, we have the Athens tournament that's coming up, I believe, beginning of January. We have the Falls Baptist Invitational. Then we have the Colorado tournament coming up in February. We have the Blue Ridge tournament, I think, sometime in the end of February. Then we have the big majors of Squannet, and then we have nationals, which honestly isn't as big as it used to be, but it's still a nice tournament. So we'll see what happens in this upcoming quiz year. And honestly, I'm hoping to have a lot of different interviews with different people coming up tomorrow. Some of our live stream, we had some problems getting it set up, but we hope to get all those taken care of tonight. And I'm looking forward to having some interviews with Virginia, with all the different teams, and hoping to learn more about their tournament. And so, especially, I think with the tournaments, it's easy to just see what happens and just to sit back, but it's a lot of fun just to get up close, see what's happening, see who's getting questions. We got some really good quizzers here, and we got a lot to learn from. Bible quizzing is exciting. And so I hope you've been enjoying yourself, hearing some of this commentary.
This is your conscience speaking.
Okay. All right. That was the voice of Dave Douglas you heard saying, "This is your conscience speaking." Oh, does Dave Douglas want to say something? Sure. If he wants to say something, say something. Oh, I'm being careful. I haven't said anything bad about him yet. Dave Douglas doesn't want me to say anything bad about him. Trust me. I haven't said anything bad about him, I don't think. Oh, yeah. No. Okay. No, I haven't said any threats. No, that's not me. I'm nice to you. All right. Well, it looks like it's time to turn it over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
There's 3 minutes earlier.
2 minutes to spare, please.
These been a good quizzes. I've missed this. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been like a couple months.
It's been like 6 months. Yeah, since our last quiz.
It's been a long time.
Yes, it is. I mean,
I've done a lot of things since then. I can't even like her at that time.
Christmas Carol.
Just kind of random.
All right, could you get Fairfax? Could you tell me your
Same order as last time. Carol.
103.
103?
101.
102.
Falls, could you tell me your numbers, please?
152.
One what?
52. 151. 153.
Or 150?
174.
So Naomi, neither of your brothers all graduated, or is there?
172.
What's that?
Timothy's still in.
You've had 2 graduate then? 3? Now, are you the oldest, or is Nadia older than you? You're the oldest. And you must be the youngest. Is that right? How old are you? 15? And Sophia and Dakota. Okay. It's the first time I've seen you all tonight. So I think we're ready to get started. Let's do a light check here. All right, let me see all 12 at one time, please. Thank you. All right. Question number 1. Question. It's a reference question. What did his disciples understand according to Matthew number 2? Joanna. That is correct. Question 2. According to Matthew 12:33, what is known by its fruit?
The tree.
Yes. And if you will come to the mic, please, that would be great. Good job, Joanna. Question 3. Question. What shall the last be in Matthew 9, number 1? That is correct. Jasmine, is that right? Okay. A minute there, I lost your name. Question 4. Question. Who shall go into life eternal in Matthew number 3? Naomi.
The righteous.
That is correct. Question 5. According to Matthew 15:18, what defiled the number 3?
Those things which proceed out of the mouth.
That is correct. Score after 5, 0, 80, 20. Question 6. According to Matthew 8:3, what happened immediate? Number 4, Isaiah.
The leper was healed. His leprosy was cleansed.
That's correct. Question number 7. According to Matthew 1:16, who was the husband? Number 3, Naomi.
Joseph.
That's correct. Question 8. To quote this verse question, quote Matthew 16:26. Number 2.
But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a spirit," and they cried out for fear.
No, I'm sorry. Toss up question remaining teams. Question. Quote this verse, Matthew 16:26. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world, and then so on after that. Question 8. Question. How was the raiment of the angel of the number 3? That would be Gabe. Good job. Question 9. Question. Into what is every tree that bringeth, Daniel?
Hewn down and cast into the fire.
One moment, please. That's correct. Question number 10. According to Matthew 14:36, who were made, Naomi?
As many as touched.
I'm sorry, I said correct. Toss-up question remaining teams. Question. According to Matthew 14:36, who were made perfectly whole? Number 4?
They that were sick.
No, the correct answer is as many as touched the hem of his garment. Free question. According to Matthew 26:35, who said unto him, though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee? Number 5?
Peter.
So this is one of those that while that is true, it was also the other disciples. Likewise, they all said it. So it's Peter and all the disciples. And we don't give 5 points on partials for free questions. Okay, 10 repeated. In Matthew 5, what are ye? Number 1, that would be Sophia. take all time. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, in Matthew 5, what are ye to be, even as your Father? Number 5.
Perfect.
That's correct, Daniel. Question 11. Question, who came and sowed tares? Number 3, Naomi.
His enemy.
20. Question 12 is a finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. They say unto him, Caesar's. Then, number 3, Naomi.
Then saith he unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's.
Very good. Question 13. Question, concerning whom in Matthew 11 did Jesus begin to say, what? Number 1.
Concerning John.
That is correct. Good job. Sophia, that's right. Question 14. It's a reference question. Unto where were they come, according to Matthew 21:1?
The temple. Of God.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question remaining. Number 2. Good job, Joanna. Come to the mic, if you will, please. Question 15. Question. Where was Jesus born in Matthew number 2, Joanna?
In Bethlehem.
I'll accept that. All right, after 15, our...
Just a second. Get caught up here.
Joanna got 2 in a row. 20 for Fairfax, 200 Falls Thunder, 80 Marquette 2. All right, this is question number 16. All errors are minus 10. Quote this verse, Matthew 10:41. Number 2, Joanna.
The Son of Man shall rise up in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it. For they repented.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, quote Matthew 10:41. All right, he that receiveth the prophet in the name of a prophet, and so on. All right, 16 repeated. In Matthew 18, whom did Jesus set in the midst of them? Number 3, Naomi.
A little child.
That is correct. Question. That's a quiz out. Great job, Naomi. Question 17 is a reference question. Question. Who followed Jesus according to Matthew 4:25? Number 1.
Simon called Peter and Andrew his brother.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, toss-up question remaining teams. Question number 2. Carol.
James and John.
No, I'm sorry. This is great multitudes of people from Galilee and from Decapolis and from Jerusalem and from Judea and from beyond Jordan. Okay, free question for Marquette. According to Matthew 3:11, with what shall he baptize you? Number 1?
Holy Spirit and with fire.
I'll take that. I could be wrong, but I don't know that Holy Spirit is ever used in Matthew. I might be wrong about that, but Holy Ghost is what's normal. So, at least in the King James, that is. Okay. Question 18, or sorry, 17 repeated. Question. What did the woman in Matthew 9 say within number 4? Isaiah?
If I may touch the hem of his garment, I shall be whole.
I'll accept that. Question 18, just for future reference, but touch his garment instead of him when she's actually saying it within herself, even though we know she touched the hem. Question 18, according to Matthew 27:29, what did they put? Number 5, Daniel.
And they put, when they had platted a crown of thorns, and they put it on his head. And a reed in his right hand.
I'm sorry, it's incorrect. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, according to Matthew 27:29, what did they put upon his head? Number 2, Joanna.
A crown of thorns.
That's correct. Question 19. Question, what did the scribes and Pharisees do to make one proselyte? Number 3, Aislinn.
Compass sea and land.
That is correct. And score is 50 to 20, 80. Question number 20. According to Matthew 24:51, what would the Lord, number 3, Aislinn.
Lord of the sinners. Shall come in the day that looketh not for him, and shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with hypocrites.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. According to Matthew 24:51, what would the Lord of that servant appoint him? She gave the correct answer, but a lot more. His portion with the hypocrites. All right, is this the last question? Is this number 25? Okay, this is the 25th asked question, and question 20 repeated. Final quiz regardless, unless we have a tie of some sort. Question, who came with her sons worshiping? Number 2, Joanna.
The mother of Zebedee's children.
That is correct. And that was a quiz out as well for Joanna. Let's give her a hand. All right, we have finished up this evening, 42, 40, 80. Very strong quiz for Falls Thunder. And good solid quiz there for the other teams as well. Thank y'all.
Chips and dip downstairs.
Wow, that was some exciting quizzing there. We had some really close quizzing, and it was Falls coming our way with the clear high. We had Joanna and the Paskariches were quizzing really well in that quiz. And then we had Marquette was doing pretty solid in Fairfax, and they were pretty neck and neck. And I think that's what you'll see is Falls has some of the best quizzers in the country, and they're going to be really good. But we have some other really good teams coming up. Fairfax and Marquette are doing pretty good. For 3 people, Fairfax is doing pretty amazing. It's really hard. I know from experience quizzing with 3 people, it can be hard just as a team to work well together. It can also be a challenge just when you only have 3 people. You only have 3 people that can jump on a quiz. Whereas if you have 5 people on a quiz, that's 5 people that can jump. So sometimes it can be hard for a team to adapt with 3 quizzers, but Fairfax looks like they're doing pretty well. Obviously missing those 4th and 5th quizzers, but they're doing pretty well. I'm excited to see how they go. And we're getting towards the end of the night. Let me check my schedule and see if we have any more quizzes taking place tonight. Let's see. We have that last quiz in the auditorium was Marquette, Falls Thunder, and Fairfax. It looks like we might be done with our quizzing for the night. Hey, Steven, is that the last? Have you guys finished your quizzing? Okay, it looks like we are done for the night with our quizzing. We had some really solid quizzing taking place. One of my favorite quizzes of the night was honestly the JV quiz. That one was neck and neck between the 2 Falls teams in Mukwonago. And Falls pulled it out there. I don't know if Mukwonago ever lost a JV quiz all of last year, but Falls was able to pull out that win there. And it's just exciting to see some intense quizzing there. And now it looks like all the quizzers are heading down to that ping pong room and the snack room. And I'm really excited to see some quizzers down there, hopefully playing ping pong if we can get that table set up. And some quizzers are making some motions about ping pong to me and telling me I need to get that table set up. So, let's see if I can grab one person in here, hopefully one of our quiz masters, for an interview, and see what we can get you. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, so I am here live with the host of the Wisconsin Invitational, Jonathan Roberts. And this quizzing has been pretty exciting, Dad. I've really been excited to see some of the teams here quizzing in the auditorium. I know Dave Douglas, which is always enjoyable at a tournament. And I know you've been sort of coaching your team, helping run the tournament. What's been really exciting or been a highlight of the tournament tonight for you?
That's a hard one right off the bat. But if we look at this tournament and you look at the best quizzing so far, well, so far Falls Lightning has been really taking it away. And Falls Thunder has been doing pretty well too. But we have some of those middle teams in there. And I think if they can just keep working, use this tournament as a building block for the next one, they should be seeing some better days ahead.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I've been saying, I know you're a coach, so you can't really say as much as you would like to. But the Falls teams are clearly,
for anyone out there, they're clearly the best teams. But there's that middle tier teams that I think you don't know who's going to get third place. And I think any team out there, Marquette, Fairfax, McQuantico, could get third place. And you missed it. There was a really good JV quiz in here with two Falls teams in McQuantico. And the two Falls teams actually beat McQuantico, which I don't think they did all of last year. So that was fun to see a really close quiz. And I know we got hopefully some ping pong coming up later in the evening, which I know a lot of you or some of you might have heard the little podcast about that. But I'm really looking forward. I know you're probably looking forward to the tournament tomorrow.
Well, yes, tomorrow we have some new teams coming in, so it's going to be interesting to see how things land with the Maranatha teams here in Cross Point. I'm thinking there might be one of those Maranatha teams that could surprise some people.
Yeah, that's another good point too. We have two Maranatha teams coming in. Two Maranatha teams coming in. We also have Cross Point coming in from Indiana, and so both of those teams are pretty solid last year, and I'm excited to see how they translate that into this tournament. Anything else you want to say?
We also have Calvary coming in, so there will be some new teams added to the Division II, so that'll be nice to see that addition.
Yeah, I think it's going to be some really intense quizzing coming up tomorrow, and we'll see what happens, but thank you for joining us. Any last words?
Well, I'm just wondering if you did any talking in between any of the quizzes.
Sadly enough for the audience, I did. They didn't get to see me until now, so this is the first for them. But honestly, it's hard sort of running live stream and talking at the same time. But I hope the commentary was enjoyed by you, and we're hoping tomorrow. We never got any interviews in, but tomorrow we're going to plan on doing some interviews with people.
Well, the reason I was asking, because all those out in Bible Quiz World that are watching this, all 12 of you or 3 of you, I'm not sure how many, maybe there's a lot tonight, maybe there's 30, 40 of you, but those of you that have watched Colorado in the past always remember Matt West's line, and I'm not sure if you use that, but in between quizzes, just as the quiz is about ready to start, take it away, the Doug. So maybe I can say, take it away, the David.
Oh yeah. Well, if you could say that, that would be a privilege, an honor, and a deep pleasure for me. So thank you for joining us, and congrats on the tournament. I hope it's a success tomorrow. Thank you. And thank you.
Hello, I am joined here by a quiz master of our tournament today, Mr. Luke Rains. He is quiz mastering in the high school division mainly, I think, and he's seen a lot of good quizzing. And so, as a quiz master, I know it's sort of hard to give analysis because, obviously you want to be fair to every single team, but what team has really stood out to you today as, like, probably, like, the top team?
Well, actually, most of my quizzing has been done with Division Two. Believe it or not, 4 of the 6 quizzes were with Division Two. So I did have a couple quizzes with Division One quizzing, but in Division Two there were some pretty solid teams. With Matthew being a larger book, it's harder to get all the material covered. So there were several questions that went unanswered, but I think tomorrow, with the addition of a few more teams, we'll see the intensity kind of ramp up with that. So
It's been exciting. I know I watched a couple Division II quizzes in here. It's been pretty, especially when you get Falls and Mequona together. It's always some intense quizzing. I mean, there's other teams out there like Marquette that have been pretty solid. They know their stuff. Most of the teams here know their stuff. It's just getting them to the next level of jumping or learning their jumps, which is what JV is all about, is learning how to do their jumps. Yeah, so it's probably nice seeing like the next division of quizzers coming up, because that's what the elite division is predicated on. You have to get those JV quizzers.
I had one bad chair in my class, in my room, so I don't know if that's what affected some of the quality of the quizzing, but everybody that came and sat in that chair started like bouncing in it and saying like, "Wow, can I get a new chair?" And I looked in vain because all the chairs of that same style were being used in all the other quiz rooms. So I said, well, everybody's at the same disadvantage. So I don't know if that one chair had a lot to do with the quality of competition, or if it was more just like, maybe people should have memorized more chapters or something. But it is a very long book. So having all of that material ready to go at this tournament would be a very noble task. So I don't know. You probably saw more Division I quizzing than I saw.
Yeah, I saw like most of the matches except for one were Division I. So I saw a lot of Division I. I know those quizzers are probably pretty eager to get up there off their chair and answer the Bible, which is a good thing. Yeah. But yeah, Division I think I've given my analysis for all you out there. But I think tomorrow we're going to have some really fun quizzing. And I'm looking forward, both in Division I and Division II, what happens. But thank you all for joining in with us tonight. Thank you, Mr. Luke, for that interview. And we hope to see you all tomorrow. And have a great rest of your night.